Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, friends and ghouls. We are working on a 2016 Honda Odyssey. The valve covers are leaking, and also it appears like the VVT solenoid is leaking too. I haven't done valve covers on this motor in a couple years, and I don't think I've done one on one of these newer models. I don't know if I said it, 2016 Odyssey. I don't think I've ever done one on these newer styles. I think the 3.5s, I think. But it should be relatively the same. Just a few extra connections of hoses and wiring connectors to take off. But I'm not sure if I'm going to like record. I don't think I'll record like every minute, because it's going to be a little time consuming for me to, I kind of have a game plan on, but I'm not sure what I'm not seeing that's connected somewhere that I'm not seeing type of deal. So I might just kind of cut in and out and show you progress like I've done before. But let me take you over here. Let me get you out, because it might be just easier to show you if you can see. Now the light's in the way. Let me prop this up somewhere out of view. So I had to change the alternator on this a couple weeks ago, and it looks relatively clean still. Of course, that's the alternator right there, part of it anyway. It looks relatively clean. The old one had a lot of oil on it, in it, from this leak, this oil leak, and the clutch also was going bad on it. It was a little loose until it finally caught. The backside, I don't know if that's leaking. We'll see. But like I said, I will keep y'all posted, because it's going to take a little while to get off. And like I said, I'm not sure if there's anything hidden that I just don't remember, or it's just completely new to me. It's been a couple years since I've done one of these valve cover jobs. So stay tuned, and I will bring y'all back. Alright guys, we're about to take the upper intake manifold off. Wasn't as bad as I thought. The hardest thing was probably, I'm assuming this is an evap, part of the evap system. I was really trying to keep it on the intake manifold, but I couldn't get this back hose off, so I decided to just disconnect the front and just take it off of the plenum or the upper intake. I did make a boo-boo. I'll have to try to find it, but this washer that goes on the other side of this rubber grommet fell. I didn't realize it would come disconnected like that, so I'll have to find that. Also, when I took the top plate off of the upper intake manifold, I found this little guy. I can't seem to find another one. Not sure. It almost looks like it just goes into like a empty connector or something, but it was chilling right here under the cover. So I'm not sure where that goes to. I'm setting that aside. I ended up taking the throttle body off. I'm going to clean it for the customer, because the gasket set that I got came with a new gasket for the throttle body. And I didn't want to take it off because Honda apparently still uses coolant to warm the throttle body up, is my guess is why you would still be using that type of technology. So I just left it connected, because I didn't want, even though you don't really lose a lot of coolant, I just don't feel like making a mess. And I can clean both sides when I get the plenum off, the upper intake. What else? There's 10 millimeters for the plate. I don't know how many, but you'll see them. They're all just around the plate. 2 on the center, I believe. And then the surrounding parts, you'll see they're all 10 millimeters. There's two nuts for 2 studs. And then when you get to the plenum, all you got to worry about are these 12 millimeter bolts. There are let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7. There are 7 bolts and 2 nuts. You'll see them. It's the same way as taking the upper cover off. You got 2 studs, like basically used as dowel pins kinda to just help you line it up. And then the rest are bolts. Don't worry about the 10 millimeters in here. I believe they are part of keeping the 2 halves of the plenum together. Don't have to worry about these outer 10 millimeter bolts or the inner ones when you take off the plenum. So I'm gonna go ahead and just lift this off, and should have everything disconnected. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Wasn't too much going on. And the valve covers are a little different from the older versions. I see this is multi-port, or, you know, not direct injection, which there's a cigarette butt. That's interesting. The owner of this vehicle is a preacher. Not saying that preachers can't smoke, but I highly doubt he does, so I don't know how that got in there. But, so we got the plenum off. I'm really trying to find that little shim washer. I couldn't put this last bolt on the plenum because the throttle body was in the way. But I'm just putting everything back where it is so I don't have to remember too much. I'm a simple man. I'm gonna set this to the side. I'm gonna look under it real quick. Looks rather clean. I need some more room bad. I used to, these metal shelves I have, one is for my chemicals and the other one now is just turned into keeping bigger specialized tools because I just ran out of room. I used to actually keep car parts on that second metal rack, but now I fill that up. Hopefully when I start straightening my stuff out, I can make myself a room to do that with. But that's it for now. I got to take the coil packs out, disconnect some other hoses, electrical connections, as you can see. But we are now at the valve covers. Looks like things got a little heated. Almost like plastic got heated and melted on the cover. Anyway, yeah, let me see if I can find that one washer so I can not worry about that. And then we'll go from there. If not, I'll just have to find something of my own. Just a little washer to keep this tiny bolt from mushing into the rubber. So, just wanted to give you an update. Like I said, I'm going to work on getting the valve covers off now. And hopefully it's just like the plenum. Not too much extra going on like I was kind of dreading. Alright guys, we got to the frontmost valve cover, and a few things I wanted to mention was, I don't know why Honda hasn't just made a bulkhead connector so you could just get these harnesses off the top of the valve covers and have all the room in the world that you need. But I guess I still see that they are doing the same design. So it was looking like I was going to have issues. So what I did was, to make more room, I disconnected a bolt right here on this cover for the alternator. It doesn't give you a lot of room on this side. In fact, this side is going to be the worst side. But over here, there's a clip right here that you can just take out. And then I disconnected one of the temp sensors and then the harness to the EGR valve. I've got the coil packs out. I don't know if anybody has done the coil packs before. It looks tight, but if you feed the coil pack up under this harness, you will have enough room. When you get to this tip, You can pull it out. In fact, I think this one was the worst one, or the hardest. Trying to see if I can kind of get it in with one hand without... Yeah, so that's all you got to do. Just get under that harness, and you'll be able to get it out. Once when you get to about here, you'll have enough room. So let's see if we can get this thing out. Sorry, I fat fingered the screen again. Hit the power button. You might have to take a rubber mallet. Sometimes you can pull up on some things, but I don't want to bend the holder for the harness. Let me. Okay, you came out. I was trying to get them out earlier, so I won't fighten them. Maybe a little bit of jiggling and whatnot worked them loose. Another thing is this one is a little harder to get to because its harness is in the way, but if you disconnect it enough and pull it to the driver's side, you should have enough room to get your socket in, as opposed to being all angled when it's sitting where it usually is. So it looks like the two short ones go on the top here, and then the three long ones are in the other spots. There's only 5 bolts holding this thing on. Let's see. Yeah, let me get a rubber mallet. Alright, we're working loose. Problem is you don't really have a lot of room to do much. There we go. Now I just need to work this other side up and break it loose somehow. Alright, so we are loose. We just gotta somehow finagle this thing out. Such a pain. I don't know why, after all these years, they can't make like a bulkhead connector. Because what I don't like is we're gonna have to put some RVT sealant on the corners of the camshafts at the end, and I always hate having a tight spot like this because I don't like messing the silicone up. And I mean, I might be able to get a little more room if I disconnected the alternator, but I really don't feel like going all that route, disconnecting the battery and having to fight to get down in there, which probably isn't terrible, but I just put the alternator in and don't feel like having to fight it. I mean, it wouldn't be too bad either if this holder for the harness was in the way, because it's getting caught up on this other end. This other end is the worst part. Go. Not the hardest thing in the world, but it's just a pain that you would think over time they would try to fix it to be a little more easier. Yeah, you can see down here at the bottom it's been leaking. What I'm interested to know is over here where the VVT solenoids are. I can see the corners leaking. Let me set this aside. I'll throw all the bolts in it. So what I was interested in is seeing over here. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a hard call. I almost feel like I should just do it anyway. Although, I could clean it up for the customer and tell them to keep an eye on it. I can't get this light to sit still by itself, but that's what I was worried about. I could see when I was doing the alternator that it was leaking. I mean, obviously the alternator was covered in oil, but I told him it looked like his VVT solenoid was leaking. It's a little hard call. Not sure what to say, because, you know, you can see over here on the other side where the valve cover was leaking. It's possible it could have just ran over, since there is a little bit of a gap between the solenoid and the dipstick tube. I don't know. It's something you can replace with the valve cover still on, I think. Trying to look. Yeah, it looks like you can just take out these three 10 millimeter bolts. There's two on this end, one over here. But I can't tell exactly what's leaking is the problem. Well, anyway, I just wanted to share where we're at now, getting the valve cover off. So I'll clean up the area and go from there, see if maybe I can see something more. Alright, I just wanted to, before I got too ahead of myself, I did go ahead and clean up this area. I think what I'll do, because I don't know, I really don't think that is leaking. I see it comes in two parts, and it almost looks like the bottom section might be, it's hard to tell because of where the silicone is, and that's what I'm actually starting this little bit just to update to show you. But anyway, there's a top piece and a bottom piece, and I think this bottom piece actually acts like a part of the carriage for the camshafts, or camshaft, just one. And although I think it's just one, yeah, it is. But anyway, what I was making this video for is, I don't know if I can get it on camera. I've already taken off most of the silicone, but right here, like I was mentioning, there's going to be silicone on each end of this cam cap. I've already got this one pretty clean. Let me pull the light back. I'll have to clean up just a smidge on the standing wall there, but I got the bottom pretty good. And then I'll have to finish up this one too. But you're going to want to clean that off before you put your new gasket on and your new valve cover. And then you'll have to put new, here, here, let me just hold you. You'll have to put new silicone on those ends, because if not, you risk having a oil leak. And you know, it's not like this is a D-series Honda where you can just zip off like 5 bolts and it comes right off. So you definitely don't, you want to do this right the first time, at least to your best ability. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to clean up the surface area of the head and get the silicone off, get my silicone ready, reseal the valve cover, and we'll be back. I might try to record doing like just one grommet and, you know, putting the valve cover tube seals on, and yeah, and then we'll go from there. So I decided to just clean the top of the head first before I tackled the gasketing the valve cover itself. I just wanted to go over what I like to do. So let me get the light situated here. So as you can see, we're all nice and clean on the matting surface. The gasket is gone for the most part. You can only do the best you can, especially as tight of an area. But as you can see, we got the matting surface for the new valve cover gasket all cleaned up. What I like to do is I take a Scotch-Brite pad and cut it into, I think, maybe 4 pieces. So you get a, if I can get it unfolded, so you get a little slit like this, and then I will soak it in WD-40, and then I'll go around and Scotch-Brite all the matting surface, and it really helps with getting all the old gunk off while at the same time cleaning it. And then I'll go over it, I'll soak a rag in brake cleaner, and then I'll go over the surface, and I'll be done after that. It might be a little excessive, but at least I feel assured that it's as clean as possible and dry. So I'll go ahead and start on the valve cover gaskets, and like I said, I'll probably show doing one of the grommets and one of the spark plug tube seals, and then we'll have to re-silicone these corners, and then it's just putting it on after that. Alright, hopefully I got enough room. I technically don't. I'm just saying that to make myself feel better. So what we'll first do is we'll just get the old gasket off. Sometimes they'll come off, sometimes they'll break apart. Sometimes you need a pick or a screwdriver. Just get under it, pry it. I was testing these gaskets, and you could tell they were starting to get hard. I mean, you can see how flat it had gotten. So we got that off. Let me show y'all how to get these. These can be a bit of a pain going in, coming out. Try to get in between the seal and the surface that it seals on, and just kind of bang the seal in a bit so you can get more of a prying. They're rather thick gaskets too, so there you go. And keep track of the orientation. The seal usually seals, how do I say this? Probably a better option is the open part of the seal goes up when the valve cover goes on the motor. So the tube is actually sealing on this surface. So don't put them in backwards. What did I do one time and it confused me? It was a think it was like a 3.4 Pontiac V6. And that was kind of a pain because I didn't take in consideration of remembering which way those seals went. Let me get one of these from the pack. We'll put the new plug in and just make sure the surface inside is clean, and it is. It's almost like a bit of corrosion or something. Well, before I do that, let me go ahead and take all of them out. I don't think... Oh, wow. Wow, that's crazy. That is so weird. That might be why this thing was leaking. So, let me see if I can get it on camera. Y'all see that? This crack? And then the way that the tube seal is like puckered up. Puckering up. That's cracked, guys. That's weird. And you can see it cracked all... It's like cracked all the way around here. Wow. Well, thank goodness we didn't throw that spark plug tube seal in. Okay. I really don't want to take both sides off, but I should probably check, huh? Let me check with the mirror, see if I can see any damage evidence on the other valve cover, because obviously we're going to need to get a new one. This just ain't going to work. That's not good. I've never seen that before on a valve cover. They've never been taken off to my knowledge. Okay, so I'll just turn the video off because standing here being flabbergasted by that isn't making good content and it's not helping anybody. Alright, so had to go get a new valve cover, and really the only thing you need to put on is your hose. Oh, and that bracket, let me go get that, I forgot. I don't know what this plug is, but the original one had it too, so we'll just not mess with that. We're going to put our bracket on that holds the electrical harness. And I might just throw some oil on the spark plug tubes just to help. Oh, we gotta, well, we can set this in and then deal with that. Or we could just do it right now, huh? Let's see if we can do this real quick. Might have to adjust you all a bit so y'all can see. Get these other tools out the way. These are all the ones that we're working with. It's not getting them off that's really the hard part. It's getting the new ones on, in my experience anyway. So what I do is separate the metal. This one was already separated, but as you can see, like this one isn't. Separate it, get the rubber by itself, just cut it with a pair of snips, and then it'll come off, and this metal shim will come off. You'll get a new one with it, with the new grommets and seals. I'm just going to wipe the oil, the old oil off. We'll probably should leave it, but I'm going to go ahead and just do that and throw new oil on it when we put the new ones on. I've yet to find a good way. Yeah, they're still malleable and bend, but you can tell that one kind of snapped basically when I twisted the rest of that seal up. Just try to clean them off as good as possible. That way it looks like you did something. Now, as far as getting them separated, can y'all see over here? Yeah. A screwdriver will work. I just used a pick. Be careful using picks. You might poke yourself. Yeah. They a little dry, to be expected. This van only has 200, almost 20,000 miles, or 100 and almost 20,000 miles. Oh, this one's going to be a pain. How tight it is. I might try to get a screwdriver. A long skinny one that I can maybe get under it and break it the rest of the way. Maybe. No. Try the other side. Yeah, that ain't working very well, but I'm making some progress. Let's see if I can maybe... Can't do nothing. Got these, I don't know. Yeah, that ain't gonna work very well. See, maybe just twisting it, I can just break it. It's really being a pain, ain't it? There we go. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you as far as these skinny ones, these smaller ones. Just keep trying at it till you break the seal in half, and then you can just easily get it off. Man, that's a real pain. The longer ones are great as far as having room. These really don't give you much room at all to do anything. Trying to get the flathead on the other side. Maybe. Can I maybe pry it out? No. I'll just have to do what I did the first time. Just twisting and pulling as best I can between the screwdriver and this. There we go. Alright, now we're ready for the new ones. Let me go get some oil. I'm not using my mic right now because I figured if I'm cutting the camera off and I'm just listening to music afterwards, it'd be a pain to keep swapping over the what is it, mini USB-C port things. So anyway, so all these are the same. We need 5 for this side. I imagine it's 5 for the other. Looks like it. I don't know if I mentioned it, but the new valve cover came with the seal, all the other seals in it, so we don't have to worry about this, doing spark plug seals or the gasket. But what we do have to do is worry about putting these on. And hopefully can, you know what? I have something that might be a little better. Got a little can of oil to squirt. I'm just gonna fill her up. I still have issues sometimes with these things ripping. I've used all types of methods. I don't know what works best. Alright, there you go. That's one that went on. It's not ripped, so that's good. And if they rip, now depend, you know, I know that there's 2 different sizes of bolts. If they do rip on you, never fret unless it completely breaks in half. If it completely breaks in half, like the ones, you know, we had to take off, if it breaks in half, you will have to at least somehow finagle some sealant in there with it. And what I do is, if I get like a split, a lot of times they'll split here at the bottom on you, I've experienced, and I will put them at the top of the valve cover where it's, you know, the least amount of oil is to drain on it, per you know, to say. Alright, number 2. I'm trying a bit of a different method than what I usually do. There we go. What I have usually done is, I think it's a 10 mil fits just good enough on there, and I've used it to basically kind of punch it on. Ooh, excuse me. I've done that and it has ripped before, like I've told you how I've had it happen. So I'll be careful doing it that way. I figured if I do it by hand, I can at least have a little more control. There we go. So what I'm kind of essentially doing is just pushing one edge over this lip and then just kind of finagling it around. And this actually seems to be a pretty good technique. Like I said, I've tried different ones and I hadn't had one that was good enough to my liking. While this does take a little more elbow grease than whacking on it with a socket, I do feel like you have more control. There we go. That one came out clean too. Probably spritz it down with some brake cleaner once when we're done, just so it's not a oily mess. I'm sorry, I may not be in the camera view. There we go. So that went smooth, kind of, sort of, with a little effort. Let me spritz these with some brake cleaner. I got a box full of trash over here to the side. I'm just spraying it off inside there. All right, we are good. Let me go ahead and put these on a rag. Put this light over here. Bring y'all over here. Try to get y'all a decent angle. I think I can bring y'all up a little closer. So I've already put the silicone on the edges. We just got to get this valve cover situated. And see, it's got new seals on it. Man, I just hate that, you know, that, I mean, I can understand the non-benefits of doing what I would like was, you know, I would have like a bulkhead connector over here, and then, or somewhere on one of the sides. It'd be easier on this side, it seems like, to just disconnect and you can fold it straight out the way. Same deal with over here. I feel like could be done. Although the harness doesn't really go over, completely over like this side does. It goes down past it. Instead of going over it like this, it goes down at an angle, but the other side of it is rather tight. So I will have to see what can be done. But right now we're working on this side. We got the silicone down. We don't want it to drop up, so oh, I hate this so bad. I just don't want to mess up our silicone. And of course, you know, once when this is on top of everything, you can't see nothing. I have to get this. Oh, that's right. Let's get our hose, because that could be fighting us too. Although I know exactly what's fighting us. It's this stupid wiring harness. Okay. We seem to be... I forgot to put some oil on the spark plug tubes, but it should be fine. Let's get one of our bolts in it. Just put it in the center. I'm just going to put it in by hand a little bit, just to kind of align it up a little bit and keep it in one spot. just double checking these spark plug tube seals. Sometimes I don't like the way that they're seating. These seem to be doing all right. I try not to use a pick on them, although I have used it before. I'm gonna loosen this bolt up just a tidbit so I can get some wiggle room. Yeah, alright, we're gonna be good. So let's go ahead and just start putting our bolts in. Sometimes they can be tricky to find the threaded part. You're just gonna have to feel around for it. A lot of times it helps if you can try to keep the same angle that the hole form is at. It's not perfect, but I think we got it this one. Try to give us our bolt back. Not wanting to go in, huh? Let's tighten this one up just a tidbit more. Maybe it'll help bring it up. Make sure our thread is good. Well, we're in the threads now. So I thought. Loosen it up a tidbit again. Lift on this side here. Oh yeah, that helped a lot. Don't want to screw it down all the way. We want to make sure we have the rest of these screwed in with some of the threads. That way all we got to do is worry about tightening them up. But since we got RTV, I know everybody's kind of got their own idea. I like to let, after you hand tighten these bolts, well, first I like to let it sit for like 15 minutes to harden up a bit. I mean, it tells you on the side of the of whatever canister it's in. I believe the process is usually like let it sit for 15 minutes before you put on the gasket or the part you're doing, and then you basically hand tighten it, let it sit for another 30 minutes at least, and then go ahead and full torque it. That's what I usually do. I don't have very good luck with the oil pans or transmission pans that just use silicone. They always tend to leak on me, and I'll let the vehicle sit sometimes overnight just draining, and it still will have like one little area of seepage. And be careful, guys. You know, a little goes a long way with sealant. So you don't, now something like this where it's the corners and it's hard to get to, yeah, you might want to put a decent little, glob in the corner. That way it'll spread out. But when it's like just a flat surface, a little goes a long way. A lot of people don't understand that, and they'll put a ton in it. And then you'll go to, I don't know, say it's an oil pan. Someone did that too. You'll take the oil pan off, and like there's a ledge this, where's the camera, about that, this much sticking out inside the oil pan. And if that lodges out and gets stuck in the screen, and it can clog up oil passages, just, a big mess. So a lot of times, you know, little is more, essentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit. What time is it? It's 3:11. Huh. I'm going to let this sit. And it's going to be the same on the other side. You're not going to be able to see much on that side either, especially since I want to be like this. So I wanted to just at least record this, and when we get to the point of torquing stuff down, I have to look at the intake plenum, but I believe the valve covers are like 8.5 foot-pounds. I believe. I'll double check. But anyway, I just wanted to record that and mention the torque specs on the valve covers in case I just go ahead and do it, not record it. So you know, the next time might be when I turn the camera on, might be putting basically the upper intake manifold on the plenum, and we'll just start throwing stuff all back together. So I just wanted to give a little update video. This rear cover is more of a pain than the older ones. You would think you would make it to where, you know, to make it more reasonable to get to, but it's not. It's worse. I'm not sure what to tell you as far as the best option. I mean, really the best option, it seems, is if you loosen the belt up, take it off the power steering pump, take the pump off, set it to the side, and I'm sure there's a way to disconnect this harness down here, and then it might give you a lot more room. I've disconnected the power steering hose, this bracket right here that bolts on the top of the valve cover, and I disconnected this ground right here and disconnected the injectors, and then I went as far as to, I can't really see it, but if you follow this main harness down, there's another plastic I don't know, housing protector that's bolted to the transmission, and then right beside it is some sensor that had very short wires. I disconnected those, and I mean, I gave a little more room, but this side was just terrible. I mean, I couldn't even, and then you're hitting up against all these coolant lines and AC lines. Just a pain, man. And I'm interested to see how it goes back in. Hopefully a little easier than it came out. I'm gonna have to clean this up, and I'll clean the valve cover up and reseal it and whatnot. But anyway, motor's rather clean, so that's good. I know that they changed the oil like they should. So I just wanted to give that update. I don't know, like I said, if you do the power steering pump method, I'm sure it'll give you a lot more room, but I didn't feel like dealing with it. I had to fight quite a bit trying to see what all I could disconnect. And the worst part is you got to remember to connect everything back. Alright, so we're here back the next day. Hoping my mic's working alright. So as you can see, I've got the valve covers back on, and we're ready to put the upper plenum, the upper intake back on. I figured I'd record that and just mention a few things, how that was a pain in the butt. I did end up disconnecting the power steering pump. It's not too terrible. There's 3 bolts, one on each side, one directly under it like a triangle. And then of course, just loosen your belt up off of it. And then there's a 10 millimeter bolt holding this wiring harness down under it. And what else is there? That did help a little bit on this side. I didn't even realize, but I had forgotten a connector behind there. Disconnected one, but I didn't see the other one. But anyway, we got it in. We're about to put the intake manifold, the upper intake manifold back on. I just need to double check, make sure everything is connected, because when that thing is on, it is hard to get to anything. I think we got everything. I made sure I connected the one connector. I disconnected on top of the transmission and put the mounting bolt back. Same process as far as this wire loom here. Just has this hard plastic around it to protect it from heat and debris and all that. And it's got a mounting bolt on it. And I'm pretty sure everything is connected as far as being ready to put this upper manifold on. I think we're all good. I did clean the throttle body already. Got the new gasket, cleaned this surface, cleaned the surface on the bottom of the upper plenum. And I believe we are ready to go. So let's go ahead and do that. Try to just get a little extra light. All right. I think this might be the trickiest part. Oh, we're leaking a little bit of oil. I'm just gonna wipe the inside of these portholes real quick, just in case. Although it'll be fine. I am rather sure of it. I just like having nice clean surfaces on my gaskets. We got that side, this side. That should be it. There we go. Pretty sure everything is where it should be. I always double check. Although we do have another steel gasket for this. I'd rather not have to do it twice, you know. I'll go ahead and put this hose on. Yeah, I think we're good. I'm going to start by putting the nuts on the studs. Be careful with this seal for the butterfly flaps, because I don't think the kit I bought has them, or has it, and it does not. And I've seen quite a few other people talk about how their kits did not come with it, so just be careful not to damage it. And of course, I forgot to check what torque these are at. Not a lot, I can guarantee you that. Actually, I take that back. Did I see something? I might have to cut the camera off and double check. It was getting a little late yesterday, and I was wanting to put the valve covers both on and have the sealant sit overnight so it can harden it up real good, so I didn't have to let the vehicle sit a while. Although back when I worked at the dealership, I can't tell you how many times they would just throw RTV on something and then just let it ride. I'm sure it will be fine, but it's just something I don't normally do. Let me go ahead and get this clamp on before I forget it. Come on. And yeah, that's right. Okay, let's just shove you over here. We'll go ahead and put all this crap on. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I did find another washer. I don't know if this is, I think this is the one. The inner diameter is a little bigger than what was on it, but it's still small enough for the nut to do its job. I couldn't find that washer to save my life. It's somewhere in the ether. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, you can see this is the one I found. This is the original. It'll do its job. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. It's just a shame I couldn't find the OEM one. I seriously have no idea what happened to it, but it got lost somewhere. Could not see it. I even stuck my hand under the water pipe connection where the, I don't even know, the water outlet and inlet for the thermostat and stuff. Actually, I could just use this. Alright, we got that connected. Hose is connected on the other side. I remember this being a little bit of a pain. I had to basically take the hose off with the clamp. Let's see if we can get it to go on. Oh yeah, cool deal. Alright then. I'm just double checking, making sure everything is back on. We got the temperature sensor connected, the EGR valve connected, we got our coil packs connected on the front and back. Oh man, I am super tired. I've been playing that new Resident Evil 9 Requiem, and I usually, at least the first time, I like to take my time and wander around, see everything, and just take a leisure stroll through it. And I don't know how late I stayed last night, stayed up, but I definitely feel tired today. Well, I think we got everything. Let me turn y'all off, and I'll have to just double check the torque on these bolts for the upper plenum. I'm trying to think. The valve covers, if you don't have a torque wrench, a lot of times, like I think it's like 8.8. Like I said before, I thought it was 8.5. It's a little tiny bit more than 8.5, but either way, if you don't have a torque wrench that can read that, or if you don't have a torque wrench at all, these the bolts, the studs for the valve covers actually have a stopper on it. That's that little piece that we were trying to get the seals back over, the new ones. And if you just take your time and you know what you're feeling and whatnot, all you really got to do is bottom those out. You'll feel it. It'll start getting real hard, and then just give it just a tiny bit of torque after that, and it's done. I do like those types. They can break pretty easily, so just be careful. Like I said, once when you feel it stop and bottom out, just give it a tiny bit of a tweak, a little bit more torque, and they're done. That's fine. So if you're in a bind and don't have a torque wrench or anything, you can do that and you will be fine. I forgot to put these down. But anyway, all right, let me turn y'all off, and let me just double check the torque specs. Alright. So, oh, excuse me. Whew, me oh my. Alright, so torque specs are 16 foot-pounds for the bolts for the upper manifold, and then it's basically the same 8.7 for the upper cover, like the valve covers. So we're just gonna make a couple passes on all these, go the same route as if we were torquing it, because we don't want to fully torque it down from just being sitting freely. You always want to start from the center and kind of bounce away as you slowly go that direction. I might have to make 3 passes. Oh, I guess not. We'll just... Oh, we were right there. That's why. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the cover. I guess I could use my inch pounds. They tell you not to go ahead and do it like this, because you might actually over torque if you double check like I'm doing. But if you're not cranking on it, like I'm not even moving the bolts. So, alright, there we go. They're all torqued down. I think, are we done with the 12 mil? I think these are 10. No, they're, okay. I'm going to put my torque wrench away. I'll get my inch pounds. I believe I had read 102 inch pounds is the same as basically 8.7. I think that's 100. Yeah, that's got to be 100. Okay. I like this little guy. SK brand. I've had it for years. My grandpa had it for years. I've been using it ever since. It's been really good. SK, I don't know, but had it for I don't know how long. It's worked great. All right, let's clean up some of our mess here, so we can put these bolts. Keep that. Move that. And we'll put all of our bolts over here so we don't lose them. 2 nuts to the side. Another beautiful day, guys. We could reuse this gasket, but we got another one, so there's no point in reusing it. All right, let's see. Okay. Well, this little guy is just a frail little bird. In fact, I think I have reused this gasket multiple times in the past, but since we got a whole kit, go ahead and reuse or use the new one. Press it all down, run your finger across it, make sure it's seated in, at least mostly. Once when you start putting torque on it, it'll seat it properly after that. Sometimes, especially aftermarket gaskets, they're not exact per se. So what I like to do is, if you have little places like this where it has notches where you know it's supposed to go, I always try to get those in first, or maybe like around here, like some, or like right here, some turns and angles, get those started. That way you know you're getting lined up good. And just like the plenum, this has 2 studs to help you line it up. We'll put the nuts on first, then we'll put the bolts in. Go ahead and connect this. I'll stick this hose up. So, well, actually, let's just go ahead and do it since we're right here. All right. Now for the bolts. In fact, honestly, if I was in a rush, I would probably just take my Milwaukee electric, just zip them down one time and be done with it. Considering this is a rubber gasket, it's not a multi-layered steel, an MLS. As long as you don't break these things and you get it tight enough, that rubber seal will do its job. Quite a bit of bolts, ain't it, for the little cover? Now, where's a 10 at? I'm just going to go by hand, tighten them up. That way we're not sitting there with the torque wrench. Yeah, another beautiful day. I don't know how long this weather's going to last, but I think tomorrow it's supposed to be almost in the 80s, and it's just the beginning of March. And I notice freaking mosquitoes are already out. Doing the same thing, just taking a couple passes and turns. Ow. I forgot to get this one. Alright. Yeah, see, this center one loosened up. Alright. In fact, I might go a little bit of a different route than what I did a second ago. That's when I get these centers tightened up. I'll go ahead and actually I'll wait on that. I don't know what the correct procedure is, but I'm sure this will be just fine. I think I just checked that one out. Yeah, that one. I don't know if I hit that one yet. That one was definitely loose. But we're all good now. So let me put this away. We got the connection and the hose put on, so all we gotta do is tackle the throttle body. And we got a gasket for that. Let me move y'all out the way, because I'm gonna have to be all up in this area. Of course, that's aluminum. What's up? No. That battery sitting there on that thing won't be good. I mean, it might still be good, but like I said, it got overheated. Always double check your gaskets. Where's the camera? Because as you can see, there's 4 different ones that came with it, and this one is the right one. I guess we don't need that one anymore. I don't usually like reusing paper gaskets, but I think we could have been fine reusing it. But I figured since we got a whole kit, came with what we needed, might as well just put the new one on. Let's see. The bottom are the bolts themselves. I'm not worried about finding torque specs for the throttle body. I'm just going to hand tighten it until I feel good about it. Being right-handed or left-handed. There we go. I still never found out what this went to. I don't know what it is. Some type of cap of some sort, maybe. I could never find what it went to. So I guess I'll just throw it away now. Not sure what it went to. Where's a 12? I would use my electric Milwaukee, but like I said, for over here, but got the battery charging. I don't feel like disturbing it. I gotta go on a quote-unquote house call, whatever you want to call it, tomorrow, so I gotta make sure all my batteries are charged and ready to go. I don't recall these being very hard to get off. I remember more of the intake manifold bolts. That should be good. We'll plug that up. Oh, that might have been a mistake. Man, I love Honda's connectors, but good lord, can they be a pain to get off sometimes? Get this out the way. I did knock this air filter. I don't know if you can even see. Yeah, I knocked that air filter clean. It's pretty new. Just, usually the bottoms get all dirty. And I knocked it clean, and I cleaned the bottom of the box out. So, should be ready to roll now. This thing, I can't believe Honda still does this. I remember having older late 90s Civics and stuff. What a pain. I still can't believe that they do this. I mean, it's just a design of the two-part metal. One's a coolant line. The other one is this like a vacuum hose. I might need a pair of pliers. I just don't understand. Could use a quick disconnect like everybody else these days. Could get rid of that whole two connection. I mean, and that's the worst part too, is they're connected to each other. Alright. That's as in as I'm sure she wants to go, because I barely got any room to move this clamp. Let's see. Oh, this reminds me. Over here, you're not going to be able to see. I forgot. That reminded me of a small electrical loom that rides on top of the timing cover. There we go. Yep. All right. Yeah, so when you're doing this, don't, Don't go hog wild on yanking. Just take your time, feel it out. Okay. Do the easier one first. I still like them clips, although I did not too long ago, it might have been last year, see where somebody had broken the bottom plastic piece that the clips on the boxes hold on to. I'd never seen that before, but I tell you, I like it a lot better than having screws, because people will strip them out if they got like a screwdriver head to it, or they'll ream the actual box head. They'll rust up. They'll ream the hole out that they go in. All right, that should be tight. I always have to fight myself because I get overzealous and I always want to tighten things super tight. And if you're like that too, I suggest to work on yourself, because you don't want to strip something. I have been fighting myself with that forever. I'll put these tools away real quick. And we should be done. Since I cleaned the throttle body, wasn't even really that dirty. But I might have to do a throttle body relearn. But that is that. We are done. I got another vehicle I'm going to pull in here. The guy came and picked up his Ford truck and dropped off one of his personal vehicles. Oh yeah, I need to put the cover on it. I wish they would. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just kind of a pain. These covers. Alright, the map, air temperature. We plug those back up. We plug all that back up. Plug this up. Put our ground back. We don't have any more bolts. No weight loss, unfortunately, to help them in the quarter-mile drag races. So, I know this is stupid to me trying to tell someone how to do this. On these V6, these Honda V6s, always get these locking nuts in first. That way you know where you're at. One of them is in. Doesn't want to do the whole poppy thing. A lot of times you can feel them slip on and pop off, but oh, you're a little cockeyed. Well, that's that. Valve covers. One valve cover. Valve cover seals the upper intake plenum gasket. A throttle body clean. Throttle body gasket. And that's it. Mosquitoes already out in March. Not usual here, maybe Florida and other places, but that's that. Like I said, I might have to do a throttle body relearn, but besides that, we're done. And we'll move on to the next one. Thank you for watching. And, I'm trying to record the more interesting things instead of like little brake jobs and whatnot. Sometimes I might do it just because it's like included into a
few things. But tomorrow I probably won't record anything because, like I said, basically I'm not even really doing anything. I'm checking the vehicle, two vehicles out for a friend, and seeing what is wrong, see what he wants to do. But like I said, I got this other car complain of some like clunking, jerking when he puts it in reverse and drive. Sometimes at like a stop. So I don't know. We'll see about that. But this is done, thankfully. Unfortunately, the valve cover was rather expensive, even with my discount. So I'm sure the customer isn't going to like to hear that, but there was no way around it. Y'all saw, I saw, had a crack in the old one, and no way to get around it. But had it been somebody else, I would have probably charged quite a bit more. But this guy got a really good deal, and I hope he's happy, and I'm happy because it's over with. And hopefully you're happy. And if you are, hit the like, the thumb, and subscribe if you're new. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one.